Hi, my name's Marcus. As some of you know, I hate movies, and that's why I own, like, a ton of them. I just decided I wanted to, go through them all, talk about them. Ton of DVDs below me, and Blu-rays behind me. I'm probably going to start with the Blu-rays first. They're kind of, they're not in order, unfortunately, so that's going to be kind of unfortunate, and I might be a little sweaty too because it's kind of warm in here. We're going to start with the Blu-rays since they're, right here. I'll just grab the one right here. So first one we have is Seven Samurai, the Criterion collection. This is actually one of the first Criterion collections that I bought for myself because I really wanted to see Seven Samurai because I had never seen it before. It's really good. I don't think you need me to tell you that. I don't think I need to say much more than, watch Seven Samurai, the whole thing. I don't know where to put these to make sure that I don't look at them again, so I'm just gonna put it over here. Alright, next up, Shin Godzilla, which, oddly enough, is one of my favorite Godzilla films. I know when I missed out on seeing it in when it came out, because I don't know, at the time I was just either not interested or I was doing something else. But after watching it and getting this Blu-ray, I got it at like Walmart for like $5. I love it. It's really, really good. It treats Godzilla more as a, force of nature. It's kind of like a mindless thing. There's some really good videos about it. I highly recommend it if you are a really big, Godzilla fans. This is a weird one because I haven't seen it. I got it as a gift and I haven't watched it yet, and that's Seeking a Friend for the End of the World with Steve Carell. I haven't watched it yet. It looks like it has French on it, so I think this is also the Canadian copy as well. So this one, I believe my brother owns. Also, some of the DVDs I have are intermixed. So some of them have, most of them are mine. Mixed with my brother's, and maybe a couple of them, maybe my dad's. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, we actually own, I believe, 2 copies of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. This is the Blu-ray in the Steelbook. Yep, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, our second copy, Blu-ray. I don't know when we got this. I'm pretty sure my brother got it at some point, and it was on a shelf, and then he got the Steelbook, and we just kept this one, so... Sausage Party. I like this movie. I don't know, for people who have seen it, they know the famous scene at the very, very end. And they also know about the animators that were notoriously taken advantage of while making this, which kind of taints it a little bit, but it's still one of my favorite comedies to come out in the last decade. I think it deserves a watch if you really like, raunchy comedy and you like, Seth Rogen. Blu-ray is kind of broken. The Revenant. So, The Revenant. The thing about The Revenant is that all I think about is the Oscars and how it seemed to have won every single award except for Best Picture, and it lost to Spotlight. It's called Spotlight. I highly recommend this. This is really, really good. I'm a big history buff myself, so I tend to like these sort of movies. It's kind of slow, but it's really, really cool, really atmospheric. Sports films, I like most of them. I like the big shot ones. I also like football movies. So Remember the Titans is a obvious choice. I think I have a DVD copy of this. I think I have the director's cut. It's a good gift because I really like Remember the Titans. It's one of the best football movies ever made. In fact, it might be the best football movie ever made. I think I'll stick with that. Promare, Steelbook. We got to see Promare in theaters. That was really cool. It's a cool experience. It's really cool. It's about firefighters fighting pyromancers. It's pretty sweet. Other copy, just as good, But the Steelbooks are really cool. Predator. To be honest with you, I'm actually more of an Alien fan. I love the first 2 Alien films. I also am I'm kind of a closeted big fan of Alien 3 3-pack. It's a Blu-ray. It has Predator, Predator 2, and Predators. I think this is also my brother's. He had the option of getting the 4 movie one, and it has The Predator in it, which is terrible. And we don't own it, but I want to own it because it's so bad it's funny. I remember Olivia Munn falling off that bus and hitting the ground so hard. Obviously, Predator's great. Predator 2 is underrated. Predators, I'm iffy. I think it's okay. Power Rangers. So, I like this movie a lot. I've actually been a fan of Power Rangers for a while. Not huge into them, but I'm surface level fan. And this movie's actually pretty good. The thing about this movie is that it's actually the non-Power Ranger stuff that's really interesting, because they kind of do a Breakfast Club sort of thing with the Rangers, and once they turn into the Rangers, it's kind of this really weird, bad CGI. Parasite. I have not actually watched Parasite yet. You can tell because, it's not open yet. I had gotten it for my brother after it had won Best Picture at the Oscars, so that was a big deal to see a Korean film win this big. So it's pretty cool. At some point I will watch this, just like I got around to watching Revenant. Paranorman. This is really good. I don't think I need to tell you that this Leica film is really good. Most of the Leica films are pretty good. This one's excellent. The one thing about this is that I haven't watched it again since I watched it the first time, but when I did watch it the first time, it was really, really enjoyable, and I kind of couldn't take my eyes off it. Paprika, or otherwise known as Inception, but better. Last year and the beginning of this year, me and my brother had gotten into watching and marathoning Satoshi Kon films, and this is one of the last ones on our list to watch. So it's really good. I actually like some of his other films more, but this is still a really fun film to watch. The score, it's awesome. I love the score. It's so cool. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I really like this movie. I saw it like 3 times in theaters, and as soon as I got the Blu-ray at Christmas, I rewatched it almost every other day. It's kind of like a go-to feel-good movie for me. Cool about this Blu-ray cover is that it has the regular poster with just Leo and Brad, and then has the illustrated poster that I actually prefer. Megamind in 3D. I got this at a bookstore. This is not an American copy, I'll tell you that. Most of the movies I own, I tend to like. We'll get to the ones I hate at some point. This, I have this thing where I wish that Megamind actually took off instead of Despicable Me, because I would prefer a future where I don't have to listen to Happy. I really like the Beach Boys. I really, really like the Beach Boys. So I own Love and Mercy. I watched it on Hulu, and I kind of I quit 15 minutes in because I felt kind of awkward in some scenes. But then I kind of was like, dude, finish the movie. You'll probably love it. And I did. And I actually cried at the end because I kind of was going through something, but it's kind of nice to watch a movie that makes you feel good. The Beach Boys have really, helped me out personally. So yeah, after I watched it, I bought the Blu-ray immediately. The Patriot Extended Cut. It's not accurate at all, but it's still really, really fun. The thing about being history buff is that the more you know about history, the more you tend to, lose enjoyment of films like this, because it's fictionalized. It's like a lionized account of the American Revolution. There's not a lot of really good American revolutionary movies. There's really good shows like John Adams, but there's not a lot of good movies, so this one usually comes up when people talk about Revolutionary War movies. I think I have another copy of this that I'm planning on selling, but we'll get to that one later. But yeah, this is fine. Okay, so The Deep. I haven't watched The Deep yet. I only really got interested in The Deep because I like Robert Shaw from Jaws, and it's the same author as Jaws, Peter Benchley. So at some point I'm gonna watch this because I want to. I like sea adventure films. I always have. I'll watch it soon in give my thoughts at some point. Okay, The Lighthouse. Great film. Like, I love the themes. I love the way it looks. I love the way it's directed. I love Robert Eggers in general. I also own The Witch. We'll get to that later. I bought the Blu-ray as soon as it was available. We saw the limited release in Indiana when it was there. I can't recommend this movie enough. For some people, it's one of those like beautiful movies you never want to watch again. Not on the same level as like Schindler's List, but you know, still kind of rough around the edges because, you know, both the characters in this are not exactly super likable and they kind of go insane later, but that's something for you to see. Whew. Gets hot when you're talking about movies, man. All right, so I remember discovering that Ridley Scott had directed a fantasy movie called Legend, and it was basically just Legend of Zelda, kind of. And I actually was able to record it on TV and watch it that way, and I hated it. I thought it was really bad. I thought the editing was terrible, the pacing, oh god. But then I learned that there was an ultimate director's cut, and I found the Blu-ray at Rasputin's. And it's really good. Someone just re-edited it and put it together in a much better way. I can't recommend the director's cut enough. Do not ever watch the theatrical. It is terrible. I recommend the ultimate cut on Blu-ray. It looks fantastic. The one thing about Ridley Scott that's always consistent is that his movies are beautiful. He's always kind of a technical guy. Another movie that I really loved as a kid was it was a VHS in my grandma's collection called The Last Starfighter. And I used to watch that movie every other time I'd go to her house. Eventually they came out with a 25th anniversary edition that I got immediately. In fact, I had lost the Blu-ray disc. Or no, I hadn't lost the Blu-ray disc. I lost the regular DVD because it's like, you know, it's a DVD Blu-ray. And I ended up buying another 25th anniversary edition, but just on DVD so that I could have the other disc in here. If you haven't seen The Last Starfighter, I highly recommend this. It's really good, well done. It's the father of modern CGI, and it's pretty breathtaking if you really think about it, from like 1984. So I really like the Apes movies. I have Dawn of the Planet of the Apes in here somewhere, and I also have the original Planet of the Apes series strewn about. This one might be my favorite, and it's the final one, you know, so a lot of people didn't like it when it first came out because they kind of expected more of a like action thriller, and what we got was more of a really tragic drama. I enjoyed that more because it took more of like a retro approach, because they based the story off of Bridge on the River Kwai, which is considered one of the best war films ever made. To base it off of a great war film and also do like The Great Escape is, I think, a great idea instead of just mindless action. And it's kind of in league with Logan, in my opinion, with like its tone, its execution, its like soundtrack. Especially the soundtracks sound really similar, and you know, they're both made by Fox around the same time, so you know that kind of makes sense. The Warcraft movie. Warcraft, when it was coming out, when, you know, the announcement and the trailers and the posters everywhere, I never saw it in theaters, but it always seemed like something that was too good to be true, like to exist. And, you know, once it came out, you know, people saw it, people were like, this is edited kind of weird. And then people just, you know, forgot about it. So I picked up a copy. It wasn't a Blu-ray yet. I actually sold my regular DVD after I got the Blu-ray, because the DVD copy I had was a really bad transfer, like really cheap and really bad image quality, because at least I would have at least liked to enjoy the images. If I can't even see, what's the point? It's a waste of disc space. So I got the Blu-ray, but I don't really like this film. It's not good. It's edited very, very poorly. A lot of missed opportunity. All the stuff with the orcs is great. All the stuff with the humans is not. But from a visual standpoint, pretty impressive. I don't think I need to tell you to watch 2001: A Space Odyssey, right? The one thing that always gets me about some of these movies, especially the like really slow types like Lawrence of Arabia and this one in particular, is that there are moments where you see a spaceship and you're like, da, 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 ba, 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 ba. After about 15 minutes, you're like, hey, you remember 15 minutes ago when the ship was over there? So before the MCU really took off, Marvel tried their hand at animation, and they made quite a few animated movies, some of which I really enjoyed as a kid, and that being the Ultimate Avengers duology. They only made 2. They made like an Iron Man movie, they made a few Hulk movies, a Doctor Strange movie. I didn't really like any of those. Whiplash. I like Damien Chazelle. I like him a lot. I own Whiplash, I own La La Land, I own First Man. We'll get to those later. This is my favorite. I think it's most people's favorite, actually. I really like some obscure stuff. It's weirder when it's obscure stuff that's from the modern times, or at least the past 5 years. And Under the Silver Lake is weird. A engaging story with really good acting and really great cinematography. It's shot really well. It's just, for some people, it's just hard to understand and might be a little hard to watch. Because there's scenes in here that are a little weird for, regular people. So we have a copy of the Street Fighter Assassin's Fist. I think I watched this on YouTube like ages ago. I could be wrong though. A Star is Born. I saw it in theaters, I think twice. It's one of the better movies that came out in the year that it did. I believe it was 2019. So it lived up to its trailer. Lady Gaga is really awesome in it. It's kind of like it had like a Fleetwood Mac sort of feel to it, like this, like a family of musicians. So a friend once told me, or asked me, why I didn't own mid 90s until I did. I don't know why, but as soon as he said something, I went onto Amazon and bought it for like $7, and then I got it a few days later. I saw this in theaters twice. I watched it on Amazon Prime multiple times. It's one of my favorite movies. It's really, really good. I'm a big fan of like Kids and Gummo and all that stuff, and so is Jonah Hill. And this is a really, really, really good homage to like, indie cinema. I'm looking forward to Jonah Hill's next thing. So there was a point where I was really into like, 70s cinema, and I discovered a movie that had barely any information on IMDb, but the actress looked pretty cute. So I was like, well, this looks interesting enough. It looked weird. Later, I found it. The Telephone Book. Under the Silver Lake is weird, but this is strange. A hippie falls in love with an obscene phone caller. They're trying to connect the whole time, and it's really weird with really strange visuals. It's all in black and white, and then it turns to color later. It's not for everybody. I can't really recommend this. It's just mostly for people who really like this sort of niche, like cult genre, because there's cult movies that people like, and then there's like cult movies that are just kind of difficult to swallow. Like they might actually be bad or just misunderstood, like heavily misunderstood. This is one of them. You don't have to watch this. It's not required viewing, but if you like underground cinema, give it a try. I watched Fantastic Voyage when I was a little kid with my dad. I believe it was on Netflix back when you watched Netflix on your Blu-ray player. The really shitty app that you look at. That's how I actually watched Doctor Who growing up. Fantastic Voyage is really, really good. At least last time I watched it. I haven't watched it since, but since Guillermo del Toro is planning to make a remake, I decided to get my own copy. I think this is a cool Blu-ray. It's a cool cover. I love the art. Sometimes I buy DVDs just based on the art. So you remember that time? It's like this weird interim where X-Men kind of sucked post Last Stand, although I've come around to Last Stand. We'll talk about the X-Men movies later. The Wolverine is really underrated. I watched this with my brothers, and we really, really enjoy this. And after reading through Frank Miller's run of Wolverine and having him go to Japan, and also just him fighting ninjas and the Silver Samurai, I think this is a really, really cool movie. Overall, it's a really well done film, and it gave James Mangold the opportunity to do Logan down the line.